The Long Road Home, a tale of fire, fury, and vindication. I never forget the first time they laughed at me. I was just a kid then, only 17, standing in the living room while my family gathered around the dinner table. I had just announced that I was going to become a game developer. "Are you serious?" my sister scoffed, tilting her head with a smirk. "You? Making games? That's a joke, right?" My father shook his head, his eyes narrowing. "That's not a real job. You need to be realistic. You're embarrassing us with this foolishness." My mother looked away, her lips pressed thin, as if trying to suppress her own doubts. The room burst into laughter, the kind that hurts deeper than any slap or harsh word. I felt the burn of shame, of being dismissed not only as a dreamer, but as a disgrace. But I refused to fold. I clenched my fists and promised myself I would prove them wrong. Years passed. I left that house, the place where every word was a dagger, and threw myself into the pursuit of my passion. I faced rejection after rejection, failure after failure. I slept on sofas, worked dead-end jobs, sacrificed friendships, and spent sleepless nights debugging code, painting pixels, learning every engine and tool I could get my hands on. My family's words were a constant echo. "You're wasting your life. That's never going to work. You're just embarrassing us." But I clung to my vision, fueling it with every ounce of anger and love I had. Every no became a step closer to a yes. Every rejection hardened my resolve. I knew I was destined for more. And then, slowly, everything changed. The first break came unexpectedly. A small indie game I developed in my cramped apartment caught fire online. A tiny streamer played it, viewers loved it, and suddenly I was in the game development scene. The years of relentless hustle paid off. My studio grew. Big publishers came knocking. I was finally getting recognized. It wasn't just success. I had transformed into the person I always believed I could be. But I never forgot where I came from. My family's words haunted me, not as a source of shame, but as a catalyst, the fire that fueled my ascent. I promised myself that one day I would walk back into that house, not as the failed dreamer they mocked, but as someone who had finally proved his worth. And so I returned. The day I drove up to the old house, the sky was gray, heavy with storm clouds. It looked frozen in time, my childhood memories layered around the peeling paint and overgrown yard. I parked my car, took a deep breath, and stepped out. My heart pounded as I approached the front door. I could see the living room through the windows, furniture dusty, pictures faded. The place hadn't changed, but I had. I knocked. The door swung open, and there they were. My family, my parents, my sister. Their faces shifted from surprise to disbelief as they looked at me dressed differently, confident, carrying accolades, awards, and a portfolio that shimmered with my work. For a moment, silence. Then my father's eyes widened. "Is that you?" I stepped inside, my voice steady. "It's me." They stared, speechless, as I laid out my awards, my games, my projects. I showed them the articles, the interviews, the fans' messages. I watched as the realization dawned I had made it. But the moment that shattered the silence was yet to come. I turned to them, my voice low but powerful. "You told me I was ridiculous, that I was embarrassing the family. Do you see what I've built? Do you see the life I fought so hard for?" My sister blinked back tears, eyes wide. My mother looked away, trying to hide her shame. My father, his jaw clenched, but I saw a flicker of something else. Pride, maybe? Regret? Or perhaps a recognition of the truth. Then I said those words I'd carried for years. "This is my victory, not just for me, but for everyone who's ever been told they don't matter. For all the dreams dismissed as foolishness. I'm here to tell you, they're worth fighting for." I looked at them one last time, feeling the weight of every struggle, every doubt, every painful moment. I saw the flicker of understanding in their eyes, and I knew this was my triumph, not just over their disbelief, but over my own fears. As I turned to leave, I felt the power of my journey, not just in my words, but in my presence. I had returned from the depths of rejection. I had endured the fire of their doubts and emerged stronger. My story isn't just about success. It's about the unbreakable will to prove everyone wrong. It's about turning the mockery into melody, the rejection into redemption. And as I drove away from that house, the clouds parted. A new dawn broke over me, promising that no matter how dark the night, the fire inside would always burn brighter. This is my story, my revenge, my redemption, and I am just getting started.